Hey everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Black Friday, and if you're a retro gaming fan, I've got a bunch of different things to talk about today, big Black Friday deals, but just great deals through the holiday season. So yes, some of these deals will end like December 1st, but a lot of these things will carry through December. So if you've got a retro gamer in your family, or maybe you want to pick up some stuff just for yourself, I've got you stocked up today, okay? I want to talk about some things that I actually use, things that I think a retro gamer would absolutely love. And I want to start with maybe an obvious one, and I know it's not as niche as some of this other stuff. That is the Steam Deck. I absolutely love the Steam Deck. It's become one of my favorite retro gaming consoles, not only because I get to play all of my games, all of my Steam library, buying some incredible indie games, but also it's one of my favorite emulation devices. I've got EmuDeck running on this thing, and I play everything from GameCube games to the NES, SNES, TurboGrafx, everything, and I love this large screen. It's just a beast for emulation. So this really has become one of my all-in-one devices, and right now, some huge sales on Steam Deck for the Steam Deck right now. If you want to pick up like the LCD model, of course, this is the most underpowered, and it has an LCD screen. It does not have, of course, the OLED screen. But I mean, just look at these deals right now for the Steam Deck. $319 for the LCD just for Black Friday. And here's the thing: we know they're working on a Steam Deck 2, but it could be a few years actually, because Valve has said, we're not going to roll out a new Steam Deck until the CPU, the GPU, it's all there, that it would be a generational leap in power for us to do that. So these things are going to be around for a while, okay? So if you're like, I'm going to wait because the new one's going to be rolling out here in the next few weeks, that's not happening, okay? I'm telling you, this is what Valve has said. They're not doing that. And we've seen the Switch, right? The Nintendo Switch 1 lasted 8 years before they rolled out the Switch 2. And they want to kind of get on that cycle where they're not rolling one out every year like a PC. But I absolutely love the Steam Deck. So if you've got someone in your family, or maybe just yourself, who wants to be able to sit down and play all your Steam games, but also really dive into emulation, throw all of your ROM files in here. Like I've got my little SD card right in the bottom, right in the bottom here, and I'm able to load up and play. I've beat so many games now, so many retro games, just through using EmuDeck. Highly recommend picking up the Steam Deck. I know that might seem like an obvious one, but just had to throw that in there before we get to some more specific stuff. Okay, next up on my list, Bitmap books. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Bitmap books. Right now, they're running a big Black Friday sale, and you can go through their entire library. I've got their newest one that just came out called Trigger Happy, and this is a visual sort of history of game controllers throughout the years. What a great coffee table book. Just be able to sit there while you're watching football or doing other things and page through this book and read some of the history of these classic controllers, how they got built, how they put all of this together, how they came up with different design ideas, some of the ones that were total pieces of garbage, and then others that are absolutely incredible. I highly recommend checking out the team at Bitmap Books. They do just a great job. I've got so many of their books now. I've got the Game Boy book in my library. I've got the PC Engine that my friend bought me last year for Christmas. I've got a history of beat 'em ups. I've got everything. So just look through this library. It's a perfect supplement. You know, it's more of an analog experience. You're sitting back on the couch reading a book. It's not a game, but any retro enthusiast would love what Bitmap Books has to offer. All right, next up is the Chromatic. The team from Mod Retro has made the Chromatic, which looks like a classic Game Boy, one of my favorite devices of all time. They're running their first ever Black Friday sale right now with actually a bunch of games that are also on sale for Black Friday. Now, I love this device because, first of all, you get a beautiful pixel perfect screen, absolutely gorgeous, but it has that retro throwback inspired feeling to it and just in your hand. Plus, it's really sturdy. This thing is like really sturdy with that sapphire screen. This is a gorgeous device for any retro fan in your life. But I got to say, their library of games that they're rolling out is pretty incredible. First, if you actually get the base Chromatic, you get the Tetris bundle. So like a fully licensed version of Tetris built brand new on a cartridge bundled with this device. And it takes me right back to getting my Game Boy back in the 1980s that I absolutely loved. And you get a full new version of Tetris right there. But they've got a whole bunch of other games as well. Baby T-Rex. And Mod Retro is rolling out a whole bunch of games specifically for the Chromatic. Super cool. Great pixel art and classics like this. Buck and the Cursed cartridge with 15% off right now. So again, Black Friday deals. Look at this game. Just gorgeous. I mean, and Game Boy style games that look gorgeous on this device. And of course, it's going to play all of your old cartridges as well as this new library of games that they're rolling out. Like again, like Baby T-Rex. There's a whole library of games. Shantae. Just look through their library and maybe pick up a few. They're really inexpensive for the retro lover in your life, or maybe you want to play them yourself. Next up is a company that I think in many ways is saving retro games, the physical version of retro games, and maybe the only company that's doing that, and that is the team from Evercade. As you know, I'm a big fan of the Evercade library of games, which they roll out multiple games on cartridges. So you get, here, for instance, here's the Worms Collection Volume 1, which I think has three games right here on this collection. But just look through their library of games, right? They all come on a cartridge. They all have manuals and really nice art stuff inside. But Evercade has a great lineup of hardware as well. You want to play it in handheld mode and you want to play it on your TV, they've got you covered, and they've got some big sales going on right now for the holidays. So the Evercade EXP-R is their handheld Tomb Raider collection, 20% off right now. So you're getting all of those great Tomb Raider games in one collection, be able to play on this handheld. And of course, this handheld will let you play all of these Evercade cartridges. So any cartridge you want, slide it right in the back and you're good to go. And I just love they're really inexpensive. Their hardware is very inexpensive. You want a home console experience? I'm a big fan of their VSR, and that Tomb Raider collection is also on sale right now, 20% off. You hook this right up to your television via HDMI. It comes with 2 controllers. And I just love the retro-inspired look of these different consoles. And it really is making retro gaming affordable for people with a huge library of games where the cartridges are usually around in the $20 range. And you're getting all of these great games on a cartridge. So you can play, I don't know what the number is, but I think it's like over 60 different cartridges now. And there are people that like catalog because they all have numbers on the side too. So like this is number 18. So on your shelf, they look really great. Like you're collecting all of these different cartridges, which is really cool. But it's just so inexpensive, and they're giving you access to so many great, like Xenocrisis, the Tomb Raider collection. There's so many different collections in here. Duke Nukem. I mean, just look through and find something. You're going to find something that you love. But the best part is they've also come out with their Super Pockets. So I just picked up the new Neo Geo Super Pocket, the Neo Geo collection. So it comes preloaded with a whole slew of Neo Geo games. There's 14 Neo Geo arcade games on this collection. But what's great is, I'll just show you, I've got the Taito Super Pocket one here as well. And that's right here. But the best part is this slides out and I can slide in any of the Evercade cartridges right here. So yes, it comes preloaded with 18, for this, the Taito Super Pocket collection comes with Space Invaders, Rastan, the New Zealand story, all on this one device, and 18 games preloaded, but then it'll play any of the Evercade cartridges, which is just super cool. And I have to say, I was telling the guys I was on the PlayStation 8 Dead podcast with Reggie, with Radical Reggie, and the crew over there. And I was saying, I've had this in my bedside table and I haven't charged it at all for months and months and months. And it holds a charge. So I flip it on, boom, same battery level. It's unbelievable. So it's pocketable. It's perfect to be able to throw in your bag and on the go. But check out all of the different Super Pocket of, I'll have links to all of that. But here's another one, 12 Arcade Classics. This is the Capcom edition. Also cool with their different colors. So check them out. There's a whole lineup of Super Pockets that play these Evercade cartridges. This is like a perfect stocking stuffer, to be honest with you. They're so inexpensive and they're just great. So many great games for any retro lover in your family. Okay, let's talk about some emulation. I've been really falling in love with emulation with a lot of these retro handhelds, and there's a few standouts for me. I know there's so many that came out this year. Oh my God. You have the Retroid Flip, you have all of these different devices, but I wanted to keep it cheap. Like, I know that times are tough for a lot of people right now, and the ones that I want to show you here are like in the $40 range. And I want to start with probably my favorite. I've showed it off before, but honestly, it's one of my go-to. It's the RGXXSP, which emulates, basically looks a lot like a Game Boy Advance. And I absolutely love this device. Huge sales right now from Amberneck, 58% off for some of these incredible little handheld devices, which this is an emulation device. You're not putting any cartridges in here. Throw your ROM files on here. And Russ over at Retro Game Core has a great sort of walkthrough on how to get it set up and running. So you're able to put whatever software you want on this. And if you want to run EmuDeck or anything else on here, you can do that. Plus, just put all of your ROM files on an SD card, slide them right in here. So I've really kept this only as a Game Boy Advance device. Playing Metal Slug, playing Astro Boy, all of those great games on the Game Boy Advance. I love this device, and I love the clamshell form factor. Flip it shut, goes right to sleep, throw it in my bag. I took it to a swim meet the other day. My son was swimming, and there's a lot of, if you've ever been to a swim meet, there's a lot of time in between heats. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm able to I was playing Metal Slug and just popped it out, played a few levels, threw it back in my bag when he was up to swim, and then got it right back out again. Really love the form factor of this, and I love that clamshell design, and super cheap. I think it's like in the $40 range. Just check Anbernic's website. I'll have links there because it depends on where you live and some of the taxes and things like that, but really cheap. Again, a perfect stocking stuffer for that retro game lover. Another one that really caught my fancy this year is the Trim UI Brick. Now, I know Bill over at the Nerd Nest said it's probably his favorite handheld of the year, and I would have to agree in many ways. This is not going to, of course, you're not putting cartridges in the back of this. So yes, it looks like a little bit like a Game Boy. You're not putting any cartridges in here. You're just loading up your ROM files and put whatever operating system you want on this or whatever emulator launcher that you want on this to make it look as great as you want, and load it up with some great Game Boy games, NES games. You can play a whole slew of systems on the Trim UI Brick. And I just love the form factor of this. Incredibly pocketable. If you want one of these sort of vertical handhelds, this is my go-to this year. If you want a clamshell, you're looking at the RG-XX SP. So I will put both of these in here. I think they're really affordable. And especially if you can play thousands of classic games on a little SD card, this is a no-brainer. Absolutely a no-brainer. You're not going to be spending thousands of dollars. You're going to be spending like $50 to get all of this set up and running. So a big fan of these this year for sure. Next up, let's talk about a controller. So 8-Bit Dough. They've got a couple of sales going on right now for Black Friday. Check out the 8-Bit Dough store. But specifically, I wanted to talk about the 8-Bit Dough Pro 3 controller, which of course has this this SNES inspired design. Now I've got the dock here as well. So I love these charging docks because it has this really seamless, just perfectly like sleek design. It fits right into these charging docks for your desk or maybe keeping near your television. I just love, first of all, the analog sticks are fantastic. The D-pad is great. I love the color design of this as well. And this has that GameCube inspired look to it. It's kind of funny because it has a GameCube inspired look to it, even though it's really got an SNES vibe to it, right? The design of this is very SNES inspired, but they've got a lot of sales going on right now. And this has become one of my favorite retro controllers of the year. I'm using it to play Switch games. I'm playing, the SNES from the Switch Online collection, but just playing a lot of other great games as well. Highly recommend the controllers from 8-Bit Dough. They've got a lot of sales happening right now on their website, so check them out. Another clamshell that I wanted to talk about in the emulation game, if you wanted to get an emulation device for your loved one, is the Miyoo Flip version 2 that came out this year. Now, it was selling for like over $100. Huge discounts right now from the Miyoo team. I think it's down to $42 right now, which is insane. And I love this form factor. Again, I kind of go back and forth between the RG XXSP design, to look like that original Game Boy Advance style. But I love this sort of SNES flip style look of the Miyoo Flip as well. Now it's a Linux-based clamshell, and it, very similar to the Game Boy Advance SP, but it's got dual sticks as well, which this doesn't have. It's really, you're playing games all the way kind of up through the PS1 era. Can you imagine like PS1 games on this little handheld? Like, it's kind of crazy to think about. But the sale is off the charts right now, and it's a crazy cheap emulation handheld device that's really good. Like the reviews for this year were really off the charts. I would say of the highest ones in the cheap realm. Like, let's be honest, we're talking in the cheap realm. I'm talking like the $50 range or under $100. Trim UI Brick, the Miyoo Flip version 2, and still the RG XXSP, just still top of the charts in terms of durability, battery life, emulation experience, screen, sound quality, all of it. And the pocketability of being able to throw this in a bag or just throw it in your pants. Like when I went to that swim meet the other day, this was in my pocket. It was almost like the same size as my wallet, for crying out loud, and have, hundreds of games on this thing, which is pretty crazy. So guys, I wanted to keep this tight. I don't want to just fill this with a bunch of fluff. To me, these are all things that me as a retro gamer would absolutely love to get under the Christmas tree or in a stocking for sure. Like if one of my loved ones got me like one of the super pockets, like shoved in a stocking, I would absolutely love that. Or grabbing some of the Chromatic games, like just, it would take me back to the 1980s when I was opening Game Boy games and playing, Super Mario Land or Mario Tennis or Tetris back in the day on my original Game Boy. A great controller to be able to play with all my retro games, or a lot of those, SNES Switch Online services, the NES Switch Online, anything in that collection as well. So, or a great book to be able to kick back and read. So I hope this was helpful to all of you guys. I'll have links to everything in the description below. Again, huge Black Friday sales from a lot of these companies right now, but a lot of this will carry over into December. So check them out. Let me know if you're going to pick up any of these things, and let me know what you suggest. I'd love to hear what you're picking up or wishing for the holiday season. So to all of my retro gaming fans out there, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you real soon.